Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Eldrazi Aggro on the draw for game 1. Spirebluff Canals, blue for Tamio, for Emissary. It's starting to become my least favorite card from EOE. You don't see many cards from EOE in the first place. That really just is dump hand, pass, go, hope. Alright. Draw. Draw. Hit that Herald's. Probably the best draw off the top here is we can go hit that Herald's into Line Breaker. I will pass. Unless you have a Metallic Rebuke. No Rebuke. It seems like the Pinnacle Emissary builds are much more aggro. So, aggro affinity almost. Saga. Almost hope that I draw into a... whatchamacallit? Wastegate Battle Mage. We have a Cake Man, so we can deal with a construct. Draw. All's Dust doesn't do much here, unfortunately. Maybe I should put something in the side that we can replace All's Dust with in a pinch. Would not be a bad idea in retrospect. Because right now, we move Chalice main by cutting Glaring Flesh Rake. Its numbers were extraordinarily bad. Alright. Yeah, so they did have the rebuke like I thought they did. Shoot. Well, attack, can't exactly block. There's Saga. So I could K-command the construct. Draw. There's a Sire. The main issue I see here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If they haste it, 7 plus 3. Because, like, my initial thought is we could go Myco Spawn. With Myco Spawn, we could then Ghost Core the Saga. Play a Mountain. I'll pass. I mean, there's no reason not to attack. Because we're not blocking the It That Heralds. Attack with It That Heralds. They'll make a construct. Or not. Interesting. End step. Makes a construct. Ramp and exile. And done. So next turn we can Sire 7 deaths, as long as I have 6 mana. Pass, they make a construct, and then they probably grab boots, I'd imagine. I guess they could also go drum, construct, boots. If they have a mana source, and they can attack in with a hasty token. It'll also be a 7/7, or rather a 7/6, 7/7. You could also go... Is Cranioplating 1 mana? I want to say it might be. You could also go Plating. That'd be a bit frustrating if Ornithopter, admittedly. Yeah, I wonder if maybe something in the sideboard to swap with All's Dust wouldn't be a bad idea. Also could arguably go All's Dust on the side instead. That's 3 down to 11. And draw. Another Int That Heralds. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can play another It That Heralds. And now I need to hope that they do not have another Metallic Rebuke. No Metallic Rebuke, so our Sire 7 Death is a 9/9. That is relevant. So we can cleanly block the Construct. They'll need to make it a 10/10 in order to cleanly block the Sire. Alright, this is looking promising. The Sire 7 Deaths might just get us out of here. I like a land for sowing Myco Spawn. No attack. What would I swap out with Allah's Dust? Opponent's disconnected. So, oh, and they rejoined. So would I even swap out with Allah's Dust if I had to choose another 7-mana value spell to put into sideboard to swap out with Dust? What would I choose? I genuinely don't know, to be completely honest. I guess it could be another Sire 7 Death, could be another Null Drifter. Thoughtcast. Draws 2. Island. Again, they need to make this construct a 10/10 to cleanly block this Sire. 4 cards in hand. I'd be shocked if they didn't have another artifact. You know they have the Pinnacle Emissary in Exile to play. So at the very least they can make it an 8/8. Oh, son of a... Opal makes it a 9/9, a 10/10. Oh, actually a 9/9. Shadow Sphere, you gotta be joking me. It's an 11/11 now, and they can give it Trample. Oh, and a Kappa on top of which? No, I was about to say, Jesus. Huh. Well, I could triple block. I guess we could just double block, actually. It doesn't have first strike. It would kill my Sire and the It That Heralds, but the construct would be dead. Give me time to potentially stabilize. This is probably the right move because it'll be an 11/11 once the Emissary leaves. But they can cast Emissary again, push it to a 12/12. So it seems like the best play, unfortunately. So that is an even trade. Or and draw. Devourer. Not doing a lot here, unfortunately, so I will cast Myco Spawn. I wonder if they've cut Emery and Tameo entirely. It kind of seems that way, right? Debating whether or not we play Cavernous Souls to guarantee its resolution at the very least. Might not be a bad idea. Though I guess if they get rid of the It That Heralds, then we'll want another mana. So yeah, we'll play the Temple and then pass. Actually, no reason not to attack the It That Heralds. I can't block the drones anyways. Attack of It That Heralds. And pass. So I really need another Sire 7 deaths. But again, what should I put in the side for All Is Dust? Because All Is Dust really does nothing in this matchup. Emissary. 2 cards in hand. And a Kappa. Yep. I'm in danger. I guess the good news is we can dust the Kappa. So maybe there's an argument to keeping dust then? Maybe. And draw. Ghost Quarter. 6 plus 2, so we can't... we can't pay for the ward, so we'll just dust here. Down to 20. Thing is, going back and forth here, they currently have advantage. So we need to get more bodies on board. Another Emissary. We'll hold. One card in hand. Is it another Kappa? Oh, okay, thank God. Now they're dealing 7 damage down to 11. Not much I can do about that. End stop, draw, line break. That does make it interesting. I think we should get rid of the Pinnacle Emissary here. Wish I could play both, but we're short 1, unfortunately. So if I line break, how much damage can I deal? This would be 4 plus 3, 7, 11. So I think, yeah, we'll play Devourer. Get rid of Emissary, and then next turn, we're just going to have to hope we have enough damage on board. And pass. Because they're going to go up to 18. 7 down to 4, another Emissary. Top monitor. Draw 2. Yeah, they might have enough toughness here to get there in the end. Giving back the Ornithopter as a blocker. Down to 4. Draw. No! If I would have played the line breaker, we could have hasted in the Sire. We're not dead yet, then. Go to combat. I need to hope they don't have a Metallic Rebuke. If they have Metallic Rebuke, I am in trouble. Okay, no Metallic Rebuke, so I'm not dead yet, because I can push myself back up to 12. Okay. I choose not to attack. We'll draw. Lab. Line breaker. And Bone scoops it up. Woo! That was a close one. Alright, well, we did get there. Just barely. So I'll go to sideboard. Yeah, I need to give it more thought about, like, do I want something in the side for Allah's Dust? For this matchup, though, what the hell do I want? So... Allah's Dust does have some utility, because it does cleanly deal with Kappa, I suppose. I don't know if they play Emery anymore, so I think we can cut Bog. Keeping the Ghost Quarter seems reasonable. Maybe still bringing in some number of Dismember? If I do, what do I cut? Vestige and Chalice are probably the easiest cuts to make, but Chalice is decent here. It doesn't stop Pinnacle Emissary, which is the annoying part. But it does stop Opal, so they can't ramp as quickly. So maybe we cut an anti-causal then, and run it back. Thief isn't doing too much, yeah, so I think this makes the most sense. Chalice on 0. We would like a red source here. Yeah, Chalice on 0. We can take command X1 on 2. I'll keep opponent mulligans the 6. As we could also Chalice on 1. I don't think that really hits anything of relevance, does it? I say as they pass a Spring Leaf. Up. Bobble. And this is where Chalice on the play is so much better than Chalice on the draw. Bobble trigger. Draw. Myco spawn. I need a colored source though. Chalice for 0. I mean, if they Metallic Rebuke this, I'm okay with that. Of all things. Consign, even better. That is A-okay by me. I'll hold on the off chance that they can do something to stop. 5, 3, 4, 5. I guess I could have exiled it to reduce the number for Affinity. That may have been right. They draw a fresh 2. Draw. Well, there's the forest. I am tempted to ramp Exile now in order to play around Metallic Rebuke, but also potentially Kappa. So hop out. We'll pass and pass. Saga. Oh, would like a E-temp off top so I can kick the Saga. Draw. K-command. Well, K-command can deal with the construct at the very least. So I'm thinking we just go Myco. Either that we hold the K-command to kick. Could also anti-causal try and find something. I guess actually warping in the line breaker is a thought, actually. Yeah, let's do that. I'd like to kick that Saga out. I mean, if they want to consign the Vestige, that's fine. And pass, no attacks. End step. Put line breaker into play. That's one neat part about anti-causals, that you can get around the fact that I don't have any red sources. Ugh, another saga. Not thrilled by that prospect. Thought monitor. Alright. Draw. E-temp. Don't mind if I do, because that will allow me to hold up Ghost Quarter. For the other saga. Do you have consigned memories? The question. If you do, I am in an awkward position. Yeah, the ghost card for the other saga, yes, but... Oh, they make a construct. Alright. I guess you could tap the construct with Springleaf for blue, replicate twice, and clear the stack. If you do have consign. One's thinking hard about this. They do have it. Damn. Or not? Maybe they're thinking about Metallic Rebuking the body? I feel like if they have consign, it's a no-brainer, right? Yeah. Unfortunate. So we'll still attack in, and I suppose we'll Ghost Quarter the Saga. That is on 2 here. That'd make the most sense. Oh no. Opponent, you clicked incorrectly. Alright. Well, I will grab an Eldrazi Temple, because I want to play this Sire 7 Deaths. Line break, trigger, target self. Attack for 4. I will K command. Scry draw, exile. And done. Wayscape, do like that. And then Ghost Quarter the Saga on 2. And pass. So we can anti-causal and haste that. Otherwise we can Wayscape the Saga, which is more likely than not what I'll do here. Construct. Why do that now, though? If I draw into a uncharted territory or equivalent, we can bounce the construct and exile the saga. Swing for 7. That is annoying, admittedly. Null Drifter. How much damage can I deal here, actually? 6. So 3, 10, 11, 12. 3, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm 1 short? Yeah, damn. I am one short. Because, yeah, if I go 3, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, in that case, I will kick. Yeah, I'm short on the anti-causal by kicking, too. So, kick the Saga. Go to combat. Target line breaker. Attack for 5. And we'll pass down to 9. They attack the Thought Monitor and nothing else, and that's fine. Ornithop is fine. They have blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll be down to 1. Go to blocks. Block. Pause on end step. We'll return Sire 7 deaths to hand. Return Sire. This way we can haste it. It has Vigilance as well. Draw. Devourer. Not even going to think about that. Sire 7 deaths. Go to combat. Target Sire. GG's. Yeah, they said GG's messed up the consign. It happens. Yeah, if they hadn't messed up the consign, then I would not have been able to cast the Sire, admittedly. So that definitely worked out in my favor, but we will take it. With that being said, we'll be back for match number 2. Alright, we're back for match 2 on the draw for game 1. Even if I draw into a soul land, I don't have any castables, so I think I mulligan here. This is much better. I mean, turn 2 line break. I'll keep. We pitch the Dust or Devourer. Devourer can make the good hand better, right? So I think we'll pitch the Dust since you seem pretty low on the curve. So we're looking at Chalice on turn 1. The question is, do we put it on 0 or put it on 1? I guess it depends what we see here from our opponent. Okay. In that case, we put on 1 for map, I suppose. Anti-causal's interesting. Yeah, we'll go anti-causal and hope we draw into a land then. Draw. Imprint. And we play around map, chromatics, ancient stirrings. I can just go line break and the line break into vestige. I need a land, please. Actually, going maybe line break into vestige, and which then puts in line break, would not be a bad idea. Attack for 4. And pass. Do you have Natty Tron? You do. And what you playing? Ugin? Flash Rake into Karn? Flash Rake. Okay. Not necessarily too worried here. ETBs, 2 mana for a Mind Stone. Yep. Major downside here is, of course, the spawns can block the Vestige pretty easily. They're down to 1 card. They could redraw with the Mind Stone, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Yep. Draw. Land. Sire. Yeah, I really could have used a land there. Plays yield. No double block. Yep, that's fine. Getting the Fleshrakers off board is a-okay by me. 4, Karn. Or not. 3, Mindstone, redraw. 4, TKS. Takes an anti-causal, I'd imagine. Yep. Give me a land for love god. Draw. Ugh, annoying is what that is. 2, 4, 6, 9. It might actually be appropriate to ramp and exile the spawn. The reason being is if they have a Ulamog in hand, I do not want them casting it. Pass. I could, but I don't exactly want to just slam it into the TKS. We'll pass. Card. For bridge? What? Yeah, it has to be for bridge. So I have a Wayscape. I need to find that. Minus for bridge. So yeah, I need to find Wayscape off the top then. Yep. Yeah, 3 Wayscapes. Draw. Oofta. Name Eldrazi. I have 1 card in hand, so I can't make the spawn any bigger. I mean, we can anti-causal and just try and draw, I suppose. Pass. Line break target. Can't do anything. Trigger. Whiff. No. And pass. Karn minus for liquid metal. I guess also could go line break, could go extinguisher battleship. Thankfully, their glowing fleshrakers are off board, otherwise I'd be in trouble. That is unfortunate. Karn minus for extinguisher battleship. Yep. Plays battleship, blows up a land, and sweeps the board. I do draw a card though, so I'm not sure if battleship is correct or if Leveler would have been better. Charles is doing nothing. Well, that worked out in my favor. Play TKS. ATB trigger. There's dust. I guess I take the dust. The map can't hit the board. So in that case, do we even play the Chalice? They shouldn't have anything for 0 that I'm aware of. I guess they could have Tormod's Crypt, but that's doing nothing. So in that case, I'll pass and pass. Karn plus on Chalice. They play the map. Drag the map for another tower. Yeah, I guess that's true. check the map for another tower. I guess they could play it safe and go for a mine or a power plant. Yeah, that makes sense. Draw. K command. No reason to play that now, I suppose. I will hold the K command. Again, we need to find a Wastegate Battle Mage. Power plant, what did you draw? Imagine Karn just pluses... What? Well, that's concerning. On what? Seascape Leveler? Walking Ballista. You can't kill me yet. Oh, but what you can do... No. I was thinking that you could station this. Oh, no, you can. It's only 5. How'd you look at that? Yep. So I'm thinking we have to scry draw exile the Ballista. You can ping down the TKS. I'll pass in full at this point. Question is whether or not they send everything at me or if they also ping the TKS. Nope, everything at me. Alright. Yeesh. Nothing good. Draw. There's a line break. Let's not do anything right now. Oh, interesting. I only put on 1 charge counter because it's on the stack. Oh. That is good to know. Line break. Chalice on 1, I suppose. And pass. Line break target. Not that we can do much right now. We really need that Wastegate. Another Karn. Karn minus for Cityscape Leveler. Another Walking Ballista will do it. Why are you playing... Oh, did I exile it? I did. Well, damn. Concede. Alright, so this is Eldrazi Tron. Lost for game 1. Let's move the sideboard. Again, this would be a good example where like Allah's Dust is not great. Bring Thief in, bring Damp Sphere in. We could argue Disruptor Flute. We want Gemstone out, Bog out. Cut. Actually, we want Chalice out before Anti-Causal. We could bring in a Flute. This might be fine as is. Yeah. Let's do this. I guess we could cut the Allah's Dust. It just makes it so that we have fewer chance of getting Lab online. Like, we could cut Dust for Flute. We have 9, which is still decent numbers with Devour. Just 10 is probably ideal. But 9's the bare minimum, I would argue. Yeah. Let's run it back with this then. And we can bring the third flute when we cut the gemstone. Oh, I already cut the gemstone, never mind. Yeah, maybe 3 flutes is too many. I think I said the same thing about Brute Scale, that 3 flutes might be too many. Something to consider. Thing is, even 2 Thief might be too many. Though I guess is Thief better than Flute in this instance? Probably, because it can eat, bridge, or Karn. So maybe Thief is better than Flute in this instance. I guess we could bring the third Flute in exchange for an anti-causal. But I feel like we can go like turn 1, hit the arrows, turn 2 line breaker, turn 3 vestige, then we're off to the races. And imagine opponent brings in Leveler at the very least. If they're running 2 Allah's Dust, then maybe the Battleship as well. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, so maybe 2 flute is right instead of 3. Even if 2 flute, do I want to cut the anti-causal in this specific matchup? If I draw into a E-temp is great. If I don't, then I'm SOL. So I think we mulligan. Okay, so this is interesting. I will keep. I will pitch Null Drifter or Sire. I think Sire, so we can potentially redraw with Null Drift. Done. We'll reveal of Devour, looking for a unclaimed territory or equivalent for line break on 2. That makes sense to me. If nothing else, we could look for an E-temp. There's a secluded courtyard, so we'll take that. Lab imprint, and pass. If they play map, then we can flute. I guess we could just go for the flute right now. That is also a consideration. Flute name map. It might be better to hold for Karn, but if they play map, then the flute. Yeah. Expedition map. And hope that this cuts them off of Tron. And pass. Draw. Secluded courtyard. Name Eldrazi. Line breaker. Go to combat, swing for 4. We draw into a land, we'll play the TCAS, otherwise we'll play evoke the Null Drifter. Power plant, do you have a Mind Stone? No Mind Stone. Myco Spawn. Go to combat. Always yield. Attack for 4. Null Drifter evoke. Draw 2. Yikes. I really wish I found a land, but I'm happy to see another line break, I suppose. And line break and line break for 10. Put them down to 2. Of course. Wonder if they drew into that or if they had natural Tron. Either way is unfortunate. So this tells me they probably have a K command. Draw. Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. I will cast Sowing Myco Spawn then. I guess actually, let's first line break. And here's why, because them knowing about the Ghost Quarter might shift how they scry draw. Yep, so they're going to ramp. They're going to exile. At least I'd imagine so. They're going to scry draw. Well, that's even better. Any Tron lands in exile? There's a mine, so we're going to go after the mine. Interesting, they're on anti-causal. I'm not sure if anti-causal is good in E-Tron, to be completely honest. So 3 top, 2 bottom draw, second main. Cast Sowing Mycospawn. Always yield. For Ghost Quarter. And I'm going to Ghost Quarter the mine. Pass. Next turn we can TKS or we can line break. They choose to use the abilities, so whatever they had on top gets shuffled away. I find a waste, and I pass. Another tower. 4 for Karn. We'll hit Karn down. Uses the map as a blocker. That is fine. I draw. Flute. So we could just flute name Karn then. That probably makes the most sense, because Line Breaker can hit it but not kill it. Yes. So in that case, go to combat, attack at you. Yeah, so maybe the third flute is worth it. They block with the map. Flute, name Karn the Great Creator. And pass. And pass. E-temp. Well, that's a decent amount of mana, admittedly. Paying cost. Map. Okay. Draw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm actually going to TKS here. That way we can strip out their next blocker. Oh, Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they just draw into a land, they have Devourer. If they draw into a mine, they have Ulamog. Devour doesn't end the game, Ulamog does. We take the Ulamog. Go to combat. Attack you, and pass. Alright. Let's see it. What are you drawn to? Alright, so we should have the game here. We even have enough for the thief if we want. Combat, target self, and opponent scoops it up. Alright, let's go to sideboard. Summon for game 2. So you want the gemstone. I definitely think we want the third flute. So in that case, let's cut 2 anti-causal here. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I still wonder if 3 flute's too many. Maybe 2 flute, 2 thief could be arguable. Maybe. Alright, let's run it back as is, though. On the draw for game 3. 4 Myco spawns and 1 land. Mulligan. And we have the turn 1 flute. And then 4 hits off the top for a turn 2 TKS. So 4 hits there, Line Breaker's another 4, so that's 8. Fine, we'll keep. Pitch TCAS or pitch Mycospawn? It's more likely for us to play TCAS into TCAS than it is for TCAS into Mycospawn. So I think we pitch the Mycospawn, but at the same time... Yeah, I'll pitch the Mycospawn. We'll pass. Spawn started with 7. Do you play map on 1 again? If so, we will flute map. Alright, there's map, so we'll flute it, draw. Damn sphere. Interesting. Well, I'll flute for map. So, expedition map. And pass. And pass. There's the tower. Draw. There's the line break. Name Eldrazi, and let's hope they didn't get lucky again, otherwise I'm gonna wish I had cast this damn sphere. Combat, swing for 4, and pass. I'd love to be able to play this TKS next turn. Lab Imprint, Devourer. Why did you not reveal Devourer? TKS takes, I imagine, Damn Sphere. They could arguably take TKS, I suppose. Okay, Damn Sphere out. And draw. Land, perfect. Name Eldrazi. Cast TKS. Always yield. Devourer, map, Ugin. I care more about the Ugin than I do the Devourer. Take the Ugin. Line break. Target self. Always yield. I don't want you drawing cards, but I want to draw a card. Want to give me a card here, opponent? Thank you. So we're now on TKS beats. Another Damp Sphere. Pass. Casting map, question mark. Through the flute. Yep. Draw. So I can cast TKS, or I can cast the Damn Sphere. I will cast TKS for TKS beats. No reason not to play the lab right now. And pass. Mindstone, redraw. Maybe not though. Draw. Cavern of Souls, or Gemstone Caverns rather. 8. Now we're on the TKS beatdown. And Damp Sphere. So I think that should lock things up, because now they only have access to 4 mana. I will pass. Because before, if they drew into an E-temp, they could have played the Devourer, but that wouldn't have been either. We got there. Alright. Solid win against Eldrazi Tron. We'll be back for match 3. Alright, and we're back for match 3 on the play for game 1. Interesting. I mean... So, turn 1 we can hit that Heralds. Devourer can find what? Command, question mark? Like, it's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily good either. I guess it could be a turn 3 Mycospawn if we find a green source. So turn 1, hit that Herald. turn 3 Myco spawn. If we find a K command, we can dig as well. There's TKS, or we could go for the Force for the turn 3. The benefit of TKS, of course, is that we have 10 down to 8 7-mana value spells, plus an additional 4 E-Temps. So it could allow for a turn 2 TKS. Or I guess not turn 2, but a turn 3 TKS. Oh, yeah, in that case, I think we just go Forest. Yeah, the more I talked it out, the more I realized, maybe not. Because, yeah, it would have to be a turn 3, because we're not drawing. If we're on the draw, then maybe. On the play, I think it's right to grab the Forest for a turn 3 Myco spawn instead. And pass. And pass. Island. Preordain. Okay. So it could be Murktide. What else would play Preordain? Top, bottom, draw. Draw. Forest. Hit that Herald's combat. Swing for 2 to 18. And hold on the off chance that it's relevant or I need to return Devourer. What a Grave Shock for a Froge. Yep, we'll pass in full. And draw. Anti-causal. Play the Ghost Quarter. Cast Myco Spawn. Always yield. So from here we will pick up an E-Temp. That way if we draw into a 7-mana value spell. Okay. This is fine. And I guess we aren't able to block the frog, but beside that, that's okay. Doesn't matter because we're going to shuffle up. Evoke trigger. We'll get a hit in with the frog. Not ideal, but not the end of the world. Grab the E-Temp. And we'll pass. So yeah, we draw into a 7-mana value spell, another E-Temp, we can exile the frog with Devourer. Otherwise, we can anti-causal and warp. I guess we could actually just cast it outright. Yeah. Fetch for Water Grave Shock. Okay, so we can't play the Devour next turn regardless. We'll play the anti-causal. Pitch and Cling to Dust. For 2, flips the Tamiya, which is a bit annoying. Draw. Sire's 7 deaths. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that is unfortunate. We would have been able to play the Devourer. In that case, Ugin Lab. Do I imprint? I think I do. Because this way we can cast the anti-causal and hold back the Devourer so I can return it to hand. And we'll pass. So they'll likely have to float the frog. If they want to attack, that is. Worst case scenario here would probably be a main deck Harbinger? Oh. Main deck Harbinger would be rough. Tamiyo picks up the Preordain, that's fine. Preordain. I guess main deck Consign would also be a bit rough. To top, bottom, Preordain again. One top, one bottom draw. Fetch, Flooded Strand. Could be playing a Murktide, I suppose. But they know full well that we have the Devourer, so I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense. Pause on end step? Do you flip the frog to attack? Really? This feels weird. Yeah. That feels weird. But, I mean, I'm not going to complain. Because we're going to return to Devour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We exile the Murktide. We swing with the Anti-Causal. Push him to 5. No blocks. Pick up Devourer. And draw. Another Anti-Causal. So in that case, there's no reason not to play the lab here. No imprint. Exile the Murktide. And go to combat, swing in with the Anti-Causal at you. This pushes you down to 5, so you have to leave back a blocker. And they force me to, let's say they Shielder's Edict, and force me to pitch the Anti-Causal, just play an Anti-Causal. End step, draw. Chalice. I mean, they can pitch 2. This is still lethal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. So in that case, go to combat. They have to have something. So attack you, triggers. We'll say always yield because I can't do anything about it. Do you have a subtlety? Bunch of scoops? Okay, we'll take the win. So this is Murktide. Go to sideboard. Dismember and Thief seems right. We could argue Flute. Flute for Frog, Flute for Tamiyo. Cut the Ghost Quarter, keep the Bog. All His Dust is good. Chalice is okay. I don't think it's entirely necessary here, especially on the draw. TKS is decent, though they do have push, admittedly. We could pitch some Anti-Causal, but Anti-Causal is nice because it can play around counter magic. The one thing that doesn't have a cast trigger is Sire's 7 Deaths. So maybe we pitch a Sire, because at least Null Drifter triggers, Devour triggers, then of course Dust to sweep. You could pitch a Sire, I suppose. And I'm thinking Wayscape Battle Mage can bounce, which is very useful, actually. Maybe pitch a TKS, or maybe pitch a Flute. You could also argue an Anti-Causal. I think maybe Flute makes more sense here. Again, maybe an argument for maybe 2 Flute instead of 3. We bring in the 3rd Flute. I don't know. Maybe we just bring in 1 Flute. Because, like, Devour is good for exiling. All His Dust is good for the sweep. if they don't have a force or hold up interaction. Null Drifter can dig us a bit deeper. They do play Bowmaster, so maybe cut the Null Drifter, actually. Maybe that is right. Alright, let's do that. Yeah, screw it. Okay, if we find a soul land, this is pretty good. I will keep. So we're going to dig 8 deep for a soul land. Because we can go hit that Heralds into Line Breaker. We're in a good position. I'll pass. Opponent almost passed their turn. That would have been unfortunate for them. There's the Ugin Lab. And we'll keep the Ugin Lab. Ugin Lab. Imprint Devourer. And cast It That Heralds. Pass. You have a Spell Snare. No Spell Snare. Could have a Fatal Push, though. Fetch 19. Watergrave Shock to 17. Fatal Push. Okay. Or not. Push. Yep. Makes sense. And pass. Perfect Springs, Bolt to 14, they just hold it up. Nope, there's a frog. Frog can get how big here? Unclaimed territory, name Eldrazi. So we could play the Line Breaker, but I can't reasonably attack. We can play the It That Heralds and just pass. I think I will play the Line Breaker. Shields are down. I'll play the It That Heralds. Yeah. Let's do that. And pass. He won't be blocking for obvious reason. And pass. Worst case scenario here, by and large, would be a Harbinger. Attack a frog. Do we block? Do I want them drawing a card is the question, right? I'll block. Force them to pitch a card. I really don't want them drawing a card here. Kind of need the grind out value. Pitch a force. Yeah, force isn't doing much in this matchup. Draw. Land. No dice on the land, so I'm going to try and resolve a Line Breaker. I imagine this gets countered. No counter. Interesting. Paying cost for Shield's Edict, passing, and pass. Again, would love a land so I can Wastegate bounce the frog. Either that or T-Chaos. Frog. Draw. You gotta be joking me. You can cast the Wastegate as a blocker. Pass. And pass. If they don't float the frog, I'll block. But I guess I could force them to pitch. Force them to pitch a card. Pitch is a push. Wait. My first thought was like, why wouldn't you just cast the push? For fresh hell. We'll main phase this because I need a land desperately. Res Whiffin hard. I doubt this resolves. It somehow does, and still no lands off top? What? Alright, we'll pass. I'll hold in case of Bowmaster. Blue to Delta. I don't think I can block here. As much as I want to, I don't think I can. I need this spawn. So I can at least try and apply some pressure. But with 2 frog on board and nothing to really back it up or to interact with them, I'm in a dangerous position. Finally, a secluded courtyard. I can name Eldrazi and attempt to resolve a TKS. There's a counterspell. We'll pass. I will hold the spawn still. Let's see, I'll have 6, 10. I'll be short 2 on killing me. The thing is, if I play Devour, they'll just float. So I guess I should probably block, question mark? No. I doubt they'll pitch their entire hand. Thoughtseize eats the Devourer. I guess they could choose the Sire instead. Really, the TKS. I mean, we have, what, 7 hits off top for the Devour, but they could have a Consign. We'll take the 4 down to 8 unless they pitch. Pitch a Swamp. Pitch a Dark Slick. Triggers. So lethal's very much on board. Draw. That will not do it. I'll concede. Okay. And go to sideboard. I'll cut the gemstone for the flute. Alright, let's run it back. On the play for game 3. Really. Even a soul land wouldn't make that great. I'm gonna mulligan. I will keep this. The question is what we pitch. I think I pitched the flute. Reveal Devourer. Trigger. There's Line Breaker, so we could go Line Breaker on 2. I do like that. So in that case, there's no reason to necessarily tuck the Devourer. They could Thoughtseize, but they'll probably take the K command. So I wonder if it makes more sense just to play the E-Temp. Pass. And hold on the off chance that it's relevant. Plays Tamiyo. We could force check, but I'm not thinking that's necessary here. Oh, son of a... Name Eldrazi. That's annoying. I was going to attack and I'm accidentally passed through. I'm trying to figure out how I did that because I only pressed 1 once. Weird. That's going to bite me. Ugh. I should be at 16. Damn. That will come back to bite me later. Attack of Tamiyo. Yep, no blocks. Yeah, if they survive by 4 points, I will kick myself in the next year. Unfortunate misclicks. Yeah, because I felt like I had stops on my upkeep and draw, but I felt like it went directly to my... Oh, I don't have a stop on my draw. I stop on my upkeep. Oh, I must have clicked twice just because I have 2 stops on my opponent. No. That would explain it. TKS. So we could clear the way of TKS. I'm going to attack with a Line Breaker, see if they want to block and grow. They do not. I'm a bit worried about a force. In that case, I'm going to clear the way of a TKS. Harbinger, Counterspell, Kaido, Sync, Murk. They can play the Harbinger next turn, so I'll have to take the Harbinger. In that case, I'll pass. And pass. They could ninjutsu in the Kaido. They'll have to play the Sync as a land, unless they draw into one. Pitch Kaido. Okay. Pitch Counterspell. Okay. Flip the Frog. Okay. One unknown in hand. I guess they could flip Tamiyo. Alright. Draw. Two unknowns in hand. Again, they could flip the Tamiyo, but that means Tamiyo would end up dying, most likely. They can't play the Murktide. They pitched a counterspell, which I find interesting. Sheoldred's Edict. I don't want them drawing a card, but the Linebreaker does present some decent value. I will pitch the Line Break. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Perfect Springs tapped, one unknown. Draw. A second K command. I think what I'll do instead is multi-kick, or kick and kick. No, I can't kick and kick. I can do one or the other. So I can bounce the frog. I guess, am I afraid of a force? Ish. K command, ramp, exile, frog. I'll just send it. And done. You have a force. No force. Go to combat, swing for 4. Down to 9. Pass. Land. One unknown. Crack a clue. If they try and double crack clue to flip Tamiyo, and they do not. Draw. Another K command. Go to combat. Attack with TKS. Block of Tamiyo. No blocks. Then why wouldn't you attack? Hold the K command, hold the Wayscape. Crack or fetch down to 4. They would be dead if I attacked the Linebreaker. Surveil. We can bounce the Murktide. Draw a card. Okay. 3 unknown in hand. Paying cost. Nice thing is I can also return Devourer to hand and cast that next turn, which means I need to hold up. Tapped. Combat. No attacks. End step. In that case, ramp, exile, Tamiyo. Actually, let's just do for 1. Done. Do you have a blocker? Counterspell. Return Devourer to hand. Draw. Mycospawn. I just need to land this hit, so if I just K command X1, attempt to exile, I guess actually, If I just do this, kick, blue. Bounce Tameo. You would need to consign, draw a card. But now you're tapped out. And we got it. Alright, solid win. Glad that our misplay did not cost us. We'll be back for match 4. Alright, we're back for match 4 on the play for game 1. What could I find off the top that would make this better? I mean, Line Breaker, of course, is nice. The problem is, like, we have all the mana, but nothing to do with it. So if we draw into nothing but bricks, then it's a pretty big feels bad. But, I mean, we have so many hits off the top between Line Breaker, It That Herald, Sowing Mega Spawn, TKS, Anti-Causal, that I think it's correct to keep. We'll reveal. Do we want to reveal a second time, though? I mean, we want something. We want a castable, so I'm going to say yes. Triggers. So there's the Line Breaker. And the Line Breaker. Alright. So in that case, I'll play the E-Temp. I'm going to play Chalice on 0 and pass. And pass. Scouting Tarn, pass, draw. Play Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. Line Breaker. Combat. Fetch. Watergrave Shock. And Fatal Push. Alright. Pass. Would love TKS, Myco Spawn, etc. Flare. Don't care about Flare for obvious reason. Vestige. I will play the Unclaimed Territory, name Eldrazi. At the very least, we get to ramp with Vestige. We'll pass. If we draw into a land, we can cast the Vestige next turn. Sometimes it is just a fancy Explorer, and that's okay. I mean, if I find an E-Temp off top, we can play Devour, which is nice. Ghost Quarter, we have kicked Myco Spawn. Next turn, no, a non-kicked Myco Spawn. If we find a land, then we have a kicked Myco Spawn. But regardless, we have a Myco Spawn next turn. Looks like this might be Grixis Wizards. Draw. Land. Secluded Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. We will kick with Myco Spawn. The question now becomes, do we go after the red source? I think we go for blue-black. Yeah, let's do that. Always yield. We have Consign main. So this is going to be a Flame of Anor. I will... I'm thinking I'll go E-Temp 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is there any reason to not do anything else? Fog is kind of inconsequential. We could go for a basic, like a waste, but we'll go for E-Temp. And pass. Flame of Anor, draw 2, 5 damage. The Chalice is doing nothing in this matchup. And pass. Next turn we can devour the trainer. Attack for 1. Draw. Line breaker. In that case, I will cast Line Breaker. And go to combat. Always yield. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'd be one short of the anti-causal. I'll pass. I wonder how many basics you have. Grabs push, blocks with Snapcaster, then push. Yes. In that case, I am going to quarter your snow-covered island. Pass. Fails to find. Yep. Take him off of blue. Play Scouting Tarn. Attack for 1. Draw. Unclaimed territory. Play Unclaimed. Name Eldrazi. I will cast Anti-Causal. Do I want to play Anti-Causal right now? I'm going to say no, actually. I'm going to cast Devourer. The reason being is I would be a bit more okay if Anti-Causal if I had something I wanted to put into play from hand in case it died. Scouting Tarn fetch. Watergrave Shock to 11. Okay. Why Shock there? Colligan's Command? Okay, that's fine. And pass, so they return Snapcast to hand. Bit of Delta. Draw. Ugin's Lab. Go to combat. Down to 5. Ugin's Lab, no imprint. This should mean that anything I draw off of Anti-Causal I can play. Anti-Causal will pass. So lethal's very much on board. The Delta fetch to 4. Thundering Falls, Surveil. It'll push to yard, Snapcast, push. Okay, pass. I guess they just wanted the blocker, which makes sense. They need 2 blockers here. Down to 2. Draw. I guess they could Colligan's Command my draw, make me pitch it immediately. Snapcast. Okay, so they're gonna do exactly that. Force an flame. Okay. I guess you can flame the Anti-Causal. I'm okay with that. Yep. Trigger. Always yield. Yeah, no reason not to play it. Name Eldrazi. Draw. Battle Mage. I mean, you can bounce a Snapcast, but there's no real benefit to doing so, so let's attack with Devour for now. They'll block with 1. And we can use the Wayscape to bounce a blocker next turn. So we'll pass in full. And pass. Gadwick. Draws 2 cards. Oh, whenever you cast a blue spell, tap non-land permanent opponent controls. Interesting. Devourer. And this will be Devourer of Destiny. Exile Gadwick. Yeah, you can flare, but it's sacrificed as cost. So you can't tap. You'll block. You actually can't bounce this turn. Alright, so flare's out. 7 unknown. And opponent scoops it up. Alright. So control. Wizard's control. The 4 Cavern Souls will definitely be good here. They'll likely bring in Harbinger, so bringing in Dismember makes sense. I forget if Tamiyo's a wizard. Pretty sure she is, right? I actually don't know that answer off the top of my head for some reason. Off to Scryfall we go. Tamiyo is a wizard. So in that case, bringing in a thief makes sense. I think we just cut Chalice. I guess we can also cut Ghost Quarter. But do we want Chalice? Probably not. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Grafdigger is kind of interesting here. I'll bring in 1. I don't think bringing in multiple is necessary, but Chalice doesn't really feel great in this matchup, I don't think. So I think we'll run it back like that. I guess we could also go Torpor Orb. It does hit Snapcast. I think Cage is probably a bit better in this instance. Run it back. Yeah, right now the sideboard needs the most work, I think. Either that or I need to find what else I want to put into main. Like maybe keep Chalice in the side and put something else into main. Maybe Mimic? Like I said, the thing about Mimic, it's a bit cute. Ugh. If I had a Soul Land, I'd say okay, but I don't. We have 8 hits off the top. We have 2 draws. Though, actually only really 1 draw. It would feel really bad for me to like draw into no lands. But like I would normally keep a 8 hits off top, right? I mean, look at our lands. Even if we draw a second for an It That Heralds, yeah, fine, I'll keep it. Let me pitch. Well, we want Sire for Lab. I guess Thief. Yeah, we'll pitch Thief. Pass. So 8 hits off top for Soul Lands for It That Heralds. Cage. Cast Cage, pass. There's no snappy shenanigans. We did miss our land drop, which I'm not thrilled about. Like, any colorless source will do it, which we have plenty of. Thoughtseize, take It That Heralds, or K Command. If I draw into a Soul Land, K Command's great. If I draw into a colorless source, we play It That Heralds. I think the K Command is probably the right choice here, because he should have enough removal to deal with It That Heralds between Lightning Bolt and Fatal Push. Would be my thought process. Yeah. I think the Cake Man's correct. Yep, that makes sense to me. Creeping Tarpon, oh, that's a card I haven't seen in a hot minute. Cavern Souls, name Eldrazi. There's it, that Heralds, we'll pass. So again, a Soul End here would be great. 8 hits off the top. Paying cost for Thoughtseize, takes the TKS. And I guess you could also take Sire. It does narrow my lines. Interesting, think the Vestige. Alright. Soul Land. Hit that Heralds. Let's... Do we go to combat? Let's go to combat. Fatal Push. No Fatal Push. Hit that Heralds. Unfortunately, I can't make it uncounterable because Cavern's my only colorless source right now. 2 3/3s though, not bad. I guess maybe I should have played it before. If they counter it, right? Yeah. Down to 11. Draws 1. Draw. Devourer. There's no reason not to just attack in here. Do you block? Down to 5. Lethal's on board. We'll pass. Watery Grave tapped. They can animate the Creeping Tar Pit. Draw. E-Temp. Thought-Knot Seer. Uncounterable. ETB trigger. Let's take a peek. Paying cost for what? No fatal. I guess you could still fatal push hit that Herald's Consign. Taps and hit that Herald's. Okay. Go to combat. They'll trade. That's fine. Or not. We find one land, we can cast Devourer or Sire 7 Deaths. Because right now they only cost 5 because of it that Heralds. Land. Passing. Yeah, the Creeping Tar Pit has a blocker. Alright, there it is. In that case... Devourer of Destiny. Exile. Always yield. You have another Consign. You do. Taps the TKS. I mean, the body resolves. I don't think they have a way to, like, mass remove my board. So, like, I could force them to double block here, yeah. It would remove the Creeping Tar Pit and the Gadwick. But I think it might just be better for me to resolve it Sire 7 Deaths next turn. I'll pass. Fetch down to 1. Bold move, Cotton. Surveil. And pass. They'd keep it on top. They pass. We draw. No reason not to Windmill Slam the Sire 7 Deaths on main phase. I want this. Or not. Five damage. Okay, so we need a land then. They draw 2, tap, I don't know, TKS, tap Devourer. Okay. Okay. Draw. Land. Devourer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go to combat. Attack with TKS. Block. We have push. I feel like if you had push, you would have pushed that Herald, so it'll pass. I do wonder if this Grafdigger's Cage actually was useful. Paying cost, TKS trigger. But now I need 2 blockers. Snow-covered island, paying cost for. And one scoops it up. We'll take the win. Solid wins. Alright, well, we're currently 4-0 going into match 5, so let's see if we can get that trophy. We'll be back. Alright, we're back for match 5. On the play for game 1. So we could chalice on 0. We also could just chalice on 1, on 2. What makes this hand better is the question. I mean, Solan allows me to play TKS or Mega Spawn on 3, which is not bad. It's not great, though. We have 8 hits off the top in that regard. It that Heralds as well, so 12-ish. Fine, I'll keep it. Now the question is, chalice on 0, chalice on 1. Into the blind, chalice on 1's probably more impactful overall. I mean, Cavern of Souls. The thing is, if it's Affinity, then chalice on 0 wouldn't be bad, but also isn't great. I mean, it breaks the opals, breaks the baubles, but I still go Pinnacle on, for 1. Into that, they can still build a decent board state, right? Whereas we go chalice on 1, on 2. Like, it could hit a number of things. I'm going to go chalice on 0. Yeah, we'll just fire it off. Pass. And pass. Plaza. Okay, chalice on 0 was beneficial. Devour of Destiny, you're late to the party, friend. Would have liked you in the opening hand. In that case, I am going to cast the Wastegate Battle Mage just to start applying pressure. Pass. Because it's not going to get much utility here. We just need to apply pressure ASAP. Getting the Myco Spawn on board would be great, so I really do want soul lands or lands here. Bolt. Another Trap Trainer, Archaeologist. Archaeologist is probably the best thing, but there's a trainer. Whir is concerning because it plays around Chalice. Damn. Like, just a land would have been good there. Attack with Wastegate and pass. On the 15. And pass. Bolt the 12. So now they have Whir. I need a Soul Land here for TKS. Soul Land. Okay. Yeah, I think we lose at this point. Not hitting a Soul Land there was rough. We'll pass. The question is, do they win? Probably. Block with a trainer. Alright. We're on end step for Lotus Bloom. Yep. So if they have land, then they can Charbelch and win. Archaeologist, they don't have Charbelch yet. Okay. There's Sink, there's Jawari. Imagine they grab Sink. Chooses Sink. Yep. Do they bolt? They play Tameshi. Okay. Tameshi pick up. Draw. Then pass. You can play land return. There's Lotus Bloom. The exile. We still have the Chalice. Plaza. Alright, Soul Land. We pass. No attacks, for obvious reasons. Tameshi would just eat the Wastegate. We pass. Alright, you have the win. You know you have an untapped land in hand. I guess you can also Seagate here. Yep. So you could just go for the Seagate, try and find the Charbelcher. Bolt in the Seagate? No, tapped. I mean, they still have the win as it stands. Okay. Show me a land. Killing me here, game. I'm going to hold the K command. As much as I want to try and scry draw for a land here, we're going to hold it so that on their turn, I can attempt to exile the Lotus Bloom that they want to bring back. Yep. Draw. Blue, white. We have the Charbelcher. Lotus Bloom. So I'm going to ramp, exile, card and yard, ramp, and what are you targeting? This Lotus Bloom? Done. And done, and pass. Force, that's fine. Seagate, tapped. Paying cost for Lotus Bloom. Okay. So, I mean, if you have the Charbelcher, you win. You do not. Somehow we have lucked out in that regard. Clean up, pitch 2. Draw. Cavernous Souls. Cavernous Souls? Name Eldrazi. Cast TKS. They could sink, bounce it back to hand. Paying cost for sink. Yep. Alright, Alright, so back to hand it goes. We'll pass. Can't do anything about that. No attacks. Wayscape too small. Lotus Bloom trigger. Chalice of the Void. The thing is they have the Tameshi, so a bit of a moot point. Chalice trigger. Paying cost. Laji. Somehow still hasn't found a Charbelcher. Picks up Flare. Flare's fine. Seagate. Tap. Lotus Bloom. Pick up Seagate. Draw a card. And did you find the Charbelch? Passing. Is this at sorcery speed? Yes. Draw. Chalice. So, hear me out. I'm thinking we play the Myco Spawn for Bojuka Bog. That leaves them with only 5 mana. No, I think they still have enough, right? Because they need 7. So, 3, 6, 7, yes. They still have enough for Charbelch, even if I Bojuka Bog. So I think we go TKS. TKS? Do you have another sync? Any reason to play? I can't play Chalice on 0, so we'll just pass. No attacks. How I'm not dead yet? I do not know. Pass. Paying cost for Tameshi. Seagate. Tapped. Tameshi picks up Bloom, picks up Seagate. Draws a card. Right now they have 6 mana, so they don't have enough to win right now. And I don't think they would play the Charbelcher early, because if they did, then they risk it getting hit by a Wayscape. I mean, we're just going to try and again Windmill Slam this TKS. Because they did draw the Charbelcher, then we'll strip it. And they know that too. Interesting. And step. Pitching a card. What do you pitch? Spell Snare. Draw. Vestige. Funny enough, we could Vestige and put in a TKS on end step while also drawing a card. That's kind of cute. I kind of like that idea, actually. So we warp. And then pass. No attacks. End step. Draw a card. TKS. There's Whir, so we need to get rid of Whir. Alright, and we'll pass. Paying cost for Flaji. Finds the Belcher finally. And I think they win from here. Because now they can Lotus Bloom for 3. Grab back Lotus Bloom. Yeah. Alright. And then Lotus Bloom, that will be the 8 they need. Yeah. Charbelch. And then Charbelch. Unfortunate. So this is Belcher. Let's go to sideboard. So Chalice is decent here. Dismember. Flute. So I'll cut the gemstone. The bog can be decent, but for the most part, a smart player can easily play around it. All is Dust not doing much here. Chalice is good. TKS is good. Wastegate Battle Mage is kind of awkward. I'm not sure I like Wastegate in this matchup, admittedly. I guess we keep the Dust then. We could bring in the Thief. Like, I just don't think with them thinking that we have the Wastegate that they'll ever play Charbelcher unless they can activate it, right? So otherwise the Wastegate kind of sits there and it's just a 2-2, which is okay. Let me run it back like this then. Yeah. Alright, on the play for game 2. I'll mulligan. Because we have 8 hits off the top, but the most we can play is if that heralds, I guess, into the Null Drifter. Which is, again, okay. So we could Chalice on 1, or Chalice for 0 on 1. And then if we draw into any land, we're in business. So any land would be... what, we played 22? I'm pretty certain, so we're down to 20, 19 hits off top, 1 draw. I mean, if it's a soul, even if it's not a soul land, I mean, it's an It That Herald's on 2, that feels slow. I'm gonna mulligan. This is more guaranteed, so we're guaranteed that Herald's on 2. We pitch an anti-causal, keep the Devourer. Pitch an anti-causal, keep Devourer, look for a soul land. So we can play the anti-causal and warp, or hold a decay command. Devourer, trigger. There's TKS, but we want the E10. I would have liked the other cards, admittedly. Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. And pass. And pass. Lotus Bloom. Lab, Bolt for Consign. E10. It That Heralds the End. Pass. Paying cost or suspend. Well, that's just rude. Pass. Tapped. Suspend trigger. Always yield. Draw. Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. We could hold up K command here. Or we can Vestige. I'm thinking we hold up the K command. Lotus Bloom. Sporific Bolt to 14. So that feels like a Whir or a Harbinger in response. X2, so we'll have 5, 6 mana. Which means we can Devour. I'm gonna say bottom, draw. Sire. Harbinger. Pass and full. So you play the It That Heralds. Trigger. Always yield. Cast without paying its mana cost. Draw. Mountain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Devourer. Always yield. And pass. And attack. And pass. So Lotus Bloom comes in. The question is, do they win this turn? Lotus Bloom. Thunder Trap. So they don't win this turn. Would really love to see... Okay, Consign's a bit annoying. Tameshi? Tameshi. Picks up Lotus Bloom. Picks up Sporific Springs. Picks up... What did you pick up? Not Sporific Springs. Why? Oh, Hydroelectric Lab. Bolt? To 9. Lethal's on board. Unless you just have the win. You might just have the win. 5? Yeah, you have it if you have the Char Belcher. Unless you brought in a basic, in which case I'm not necessarily dead. Looks like you do. Alright, let's see the Char Belcher. To be fair, we didn't... I mean, you showed a Myco spawn, but we didn't show the Bliss Quarter. Here's Char Belcher. Or not. Seagate Rest. Whir for 4, son of a... Yeah, that'll do it. And let's see if you brought in the basic. You did not. Brutal. Maybe I should have mulliganed a bit more aggressively. Maybe I could have kept my opening hand. Hard to say. Could have also went Vestige, I suppose, to try and draw a card. Would have found a Myco spawn, so it wouldn't have been meaningful. Alright, well, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. But still, really solid record. 4-1 at the end of 5, losing to Belcher. I think I probably could have played that a bit better, maybe. I mean, I think it was right for me to K command when I did. I guess the Devourer was probably right. We didn't even get the attack with it, so yeah. Yeah. I think we played correctly, all things considered. But with that being said, that there will be the end of today's video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button. Comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback. It'd be much appreciated. For as much as I hope that you all learn from me in both my success and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you have reached this point in the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to the next goal of 1,000 subscribers, at which point I will start monetizing these videos, allowing me to start saving up for a streaming PC so I can stream live over on Twitch. In the meantime though, if you want to support me monetarily, you can do so over my Patreon, where you get early access to my YouTube videos. With that being said though folks, I will see y'all next time. Bye bye!